This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Moving to Vegas? There's no better time than now. Where can you find a 3-bedroom home with a balcony and patio? With upgraded flooring, all appliances included, newly painted, move-in ready. With a community park and pool for under $400,000. Not to mention that it is so convenient to shopping, schools, entertainment. And of course, what is Vegas without the Strip? So what are you waiting for? Call Benjamina today at 702-281-9063. Mia is also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can also visit www.benjaminamiacasino.com and view available homes anytime. Remember, the house wins when you bet on Benjamina Mia Casino. On the Dot is presented by Benjamina Mia Casino. Licensed real estate professional since 2008. License number S01669991 LLC. It's a lunch hour in Vegas, and we're on the dot with Dot and Mia here on PHLV Radio.
Welcome to August, everyone. Welcome. It's the first Wednesday for us of August, and we are on writer's block. And I want to thank Mia Casino, our sponsor, for coming up with really catchy titles. She chose writer's block for August, and we're featuring authors. My name is Dorothy Tome. I'm a life coach, and you can call me Miss Dot. And here's my partner in fun, Miss Mia Benjamin Casino.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to August, and you are welcome. Welcome to On the Dot. And we have writer's block, double D for Divine Destiny, not the other double D.
Ano yung double D? What's the other double D?
Don't ask. Dorothy Dome.
Dot. It's a dot.
Dorothy Dome nga eh.
A dome, okay. Ayoko.
No.
The dome.
It's Divine Destiny.
The dome, I call my husband Tome with a shiny dome kasi kalbo siya.
Yeah.
So, Tome, Mr. Tome with a shiny dome. Yeah.
May tumatawa na naman sa background.
Yeah. Who's that? Sige.
Yeah, our consciensya. Didn't you notice, Dot? I was calling you Tomei for a year. Dorothy Tomei. I was calling you Dorothy Tomei for a year.
What year was that?
Our first year together. Dorothy Tomei.
Yeah, a question ko is what year? No?
Parang Marisa Tomei.
Yeah. Sige.
Yeah, anyway, that's our episode today is Writer's Block because we're featuring authors for the month of August.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we have a multi-awarded leader and author as our guest today. And our topic is Divine Destiny. What is Divine Destiny to you, Dot?
Your sacred blueprint. Ayan.
Yeah.
Divine Destiny. Divine kasi sacred, diba? Your holy path. You know?
Correct. Yes. It's the destiny. To me, it's God's destiny for man.
For
man. For man's life.
Okay. Sige. Yeah.
It's inspired by the book that this special lady wrote, and she'll talk about it on this episode. Mm-hmm. So should we introduce her?
Oh, yes. Let's do that.
So our guest is Miss Bella Aurora, Amie for short, P. Belmonte, which is a multi-awarded leader that is principle-centered, purpose-driven, and progressive thinker, a servant leader who works with her heart as working for the Lord. Amie holds various leadership positions. She is currently a board of governor on the national level as the Nevada State Chair of NAFA and a president of Fil-Am Power. She has become an official voice to politicians. Nawala na ako. Haba ng aking intro. And she is an official voice to politicians, government entities, state and national media, and she pioneered projects which impacted the community at large, such as Filipiniana Affair, Fiesta Filipino, Mabuhay Expo, and Bayanihan Picnic. We'll talk about that later. And Amie is also involved in church community, former co-host at the Grace at the Table, which you were asking about it earlier with her, and which is a Christian TV show. She is also a Bible study teacher, a mentor leader, conducting leadership forums, teaching leadership skills, especially to those who go into global mission fields, co-director with her husband, Amie Belmonte, advisors to the 5 associate pastors of New Hope, Las Vegas. Her philanthropy works include supporting and providing financial donations to the poor, children, widows, and orphans locally and internationally. As director of the Green King Nation, a global charity nonprofit organization, she hopes to continue her humanitarian work and expands the outreach to more nations. Founder and owner of Senior Resources and Services, SRS, in 2001. It is a forerunner and pioneer with a holistic approach in servicing the aged and vulnerable citizens. She has so many awards. She recently garnered the Woman of the Year Lifetime Achievement Award, REIN Award, International with the Philippines Presidential Award, Banaag Award. Yun yung pinaka-recent. But there's so many awards, we'll talk about it later. We'll introduce her first, Miss Amie Belmonte. Welcome, Amie.
Thank you,
Applause naman dyan. Applause.
Ano yung ating applause? Wala. Ayan.
Welcome, Amie.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, I'm waiting for her to be right there on the screen. Miss Amie, welcome. And Banaag means shine, or is it light? What does that mean? Yeah.
Banaag, that means thank you to Adat and Mia for inviting me to your show today, and I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm very honored to be one of the Banaag awardee by the President of the Philippines just recently, about 3 weeks ago. And Banaag, you're right that Banaag is light or shining, shine. So I'm one of the 56 awardees, in the Philippines that was held recently. And that was a whirlwind trip because they just gave us about 2 weeks notice. And basically what the Banaag Award means is that someone who has done a lot of things for the community. And of course, you probably know that for the last 20 years, we've been volunteering, me and my husband, to help our community. It is our heart, and it's also one of our divine destiny, to be helping our community. So that's one of the requirements that was required for the Banaag Award. And of course, in the church community as well, we've been very, very active.
So I have your book, but because I'm using, I'm going to remove my filter, my background in a bit. Mia, how did you know Miss Amie here?
Oh, through the Filipino community, she's been very active with the Filipino community, and so am I. So we met through the different circles of the Filipino
Okay.
community being very active.
Ayan.
Mhm.
And so Mia shared your book with me. And if you're looking at it, I hope it's not reversed. I don't know how you're going to fix that. It's a dawn of a
Dawn.
new day, stepping into your divine destiny. And you wrote this just last year or the other year? Just last year.
Yeah, 2019 that I wrote it, and it was launched last year. You're right. It was launched last year, March, for the Women's Day, Women's Month celebration, which was in March. It was really a quick thing. They really wanted me to launch it for the Women's Day celebration. So that's what had happened. But I wrote it during the COVID season, and I'm not sure if you folks had a chance to read it, but it was at least about 5, 6 times that people that I don't even know have told me that I needed to write a book, you know? And so I kind of brush it off at the very beginning. If you read the book, the first one was actually my niece. She was about 10, 11 years old, that she told me that she dreamt about it, that there was a line of people and they were holding a book. And I was behind the table with stacks of books and I was signing books. So she told me that many years ago, maybe about 10 years ago. And throughout the years, somebody had confirmed it over and over again. And I truly believe I had 5 or 6 confirmation. And talking about divine destiny, and that I do agree with you that it is a sacred path, it's a holy agenda by the Lord, and one of the things really about me is that I love to pray, just calling upon the Lord and just asking him what is his will for my life. Because if we truly believe that there is a divine supreme being who is above us, then we know that someone is in control of our lives, right? So basically, I had 6 people confirming every 2 years, every 3 years, somebody telling me to write a book. This is one of the most surprising thing. I met a young man who was studying to be a pastor, 21 years old. That was the first time that I met him. And we were just talking over the dinner, Leo knows the parents. And so, of course, I tag along and they brought this young man. And we were talking. And he looked at me across the table and he said, Amie, you need to write a book. And I go
about prophecy,
oh, no.
right?
I said, oh, no. I think you must have been the 3rd person, though, that told me that. So, I said, okay, I will write a book maybe one of these days. So anyway, I was not able to do that because I'm not a writer, okay? I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. I read it. I read the book. I'm halfway through actually, and then I scanned for I scanned the rest of it. And I'm very familiar with what you're saying because I used to be a pastor's wife. So reading this, really, I resonated with the divine destiny, and especially what you said, and your that young man said, you're going to write a book. So I'm familiar with the gift of prophecy. So someone prophesying that you're going to be a writer. Yeah. Please, darling, now you're a writer.
Okay, then that you can really relate to prophetic voice that people have told me. And yes, so many people had prophesied that over me, actually. And the nail to the coffin is there was one night that I was teaching a class, and I truly, truly invite you folks, and it's called Divine Design.
Oh, yeah, double D, Mia. Divine Design.
Design, okay? And the design, Mia, is an acronym. D is for your dream. It's for your desire. E is your experience, education, okay? S is your spiritual gifts. And I is your individual temperament. G is your growth, and N is natural abilities. It's called divine design. And me and Leo teaches that. And I would invite you folks to the next one, which is in the fall. It's like maybe 2 nights classes only, about 3 hours each. Because I want people, my desire is to have people really know what is their divine destiny. And you can only know your divine destiny if you know your divine design. What are the gifts that the Lord has given you? Because you do not have those gifts by accident. God gave it to you because He has a purpose. You know, I'm just reminded of Mark Twain, in which he said that there are 2 important days in your life. Number 1 is the day you were born, and the second most important day in your life is when you find your purpose in life. When you find in purpose in life, truly, you don't even have to be thinking what you're gonna do tomorrow. You know exactly what you're doing. And so anyway, that's your divine destiny. And all of us has a divine calling. And when we are able to fulfill that divine calling, then we're happy, we're fulfilled. And when we come and stand before God, He's gonna say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." You know
There
that.
you go. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the acronym design of the word design. Okay, the first one is desire. The second is experiences. Then spiritual. What's the S?
Spiritual gifts. Yes.
Gifts, and then I for individual. What's that again?
Individual temperament.
Temperament.
Temperament. Yes, I'm not sure if folks are familiar with the different temperament, but all of us have different. Some are introvert, some are extrovert. Okay.
Yeah. And the G for
it's growth.
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 What's that again?
Growth.
Growth. And the N is for
natural abilities.
Ayan, natural abilities.
Yes.
All right. So when you were writing your book, Dawn of a New Day, I suppose it's really one of your natural abilities to write, because I see the flow of words and thoughts in your book. Hey, Mia, did you read? Have you read her book?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Diba? Oo. So is there another one?
Very
Is there another book?
Coming?
You know what, that it took a lot of faith for me to write that book, truly. And that's the very reason why that I delayed it for the last 10 years, because I am not a writer by nature. Okay. And I want to inspire people that you may not have a natural ability of writing, of singing, but when you bring it before God and say, "Lord, I want to do what you want me to do and not what I want to do, but you have to help me." I took me a lot of faith. And, you know, during the COVID season, I'm always saying, "Okay, God, I'm busy. And remember, I told you folks that, 6 times the Lord spoke to me. And one of the classes while I was teaching divine design, there is this Black lady. She came to attend the class. And so you know what she told me? Another prophecy, that you understand this. And this is how the Lord speaks to me. This lady said that the Lord told me, "You're going to be writing curriculum." She did not know that I wrote the curriculum for the divine design class. I did. I put it all together. I wrote it all down. And so I said, okay. And this lady told me, she said, "You need to write the book. Write the book." So it's more a command than, it's already a command. It's not like, "I think you should write a book. I think you have a calling to write a book." This lady said, "Write. God is telling me you need to write the book." And I go like, oh my gosh, I don't have a reason not to anymore. So during the COVID season, I said, "Okay, God, when I stand before you, you're telling me to write a book. When I stand before you someday, I will not have a reason to say, 'Lord, I was busy,' because during the COVID season, we were all staying home." So then I had to start somewhere. And I said, "I don't know where to begin. I don't even know how. But when we step into faith, which means faith is the substance of things unseen. We do not know what is out there, but we're just saying, okay, God, I trust in you. Please help me. You know what? When I begin to step out and say, okay, God, I'm going to do it, do you know that everything fell into place? And so,
I believe you. Yep, I believe you. Maybe Mia has a book coming, because Mia here is a collection of quotes and jokes. Maybe she can. I don't know, Mia. What book are you cooking up in your head?
Probably all the activities in real estate, all the things I encounter in real estate, and all the lessons.
Yes, diba? You know, I really agree with you, Miss Amy, on if it's there in you, if you have something really to say to the world, it doesn't have to be a message for the entire world. It can be a message for specific groups of people. So I was sitting there in my tiny reading room earlier before the show, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I can also start writing something of my own. And I remembered maybe Mia also has something to write about her experiences here in Las Vegas as a real estate realtor. Diba, Mia? What lessons have you learned that you want to share?
yes.
No, I really think that this show that we have on the dot is our divine destiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, really, because everything just falls into place. I think we meet people, not by accident, and our guests are not by accident. Even the topics that we have is really divine providence. Even meeting Kuya Yo.
Yes,
Don't you think so? Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving me chills.
Yeah.
And for me just to think about our guest this morning, afternoon, made me think that yes, we each have a message for certain people, and if we shut our light, if we shut our banaag. Actually, the banaag in Ilonggo is nagabanaag. It means you're shining. It is shining. It's illuminating. No? So if we shut our light, like I think it's one of the things you mentioned here in the book, then we're not serving our purpose.
Right.
So yeah, right.
Really true that. That's why I said that every single day we have a choice, and that when we take that step, we're either stepping towards God's calling in our life or stepping away from God's calling in our life. And all of us has a message. All of us has a message to tell the world, just like what you said. It could be a segment of society. It could be just few, but it doesn't matter. The main thing is that we bring our message into the world. And I do hope my message to the world about that book is the dawn of the new day, stepping into your divine destiny, is really basically the bottom line is that, is step out in faith of what God is calling you to do. And you will inspire people. I've heard, people have told me that they read the book like maybe a page or two every evening. It's just like their devotion time because they are inspired by it. And I think if we inspired one or two, it doesn't have to be thousands. It doesn't have to be hundreds, even if it's just one or two, then it's worth it all because we made an impact, to someone. So, I encourage you both, that and Mia, you both are brilliant women. You don't go to the school that you went to without a certain GPA. So I know you both are brilliant. So I encourage you. And if there's anything I can do to help, hey, maybe we need to open up a book club. And those people who aspire, to write a book, come, and then we can just start, inspiring each other and how to begin, how I began. And I'm very elementary.
Did you publish this here? Did you publish it here, right? In Las Vegas? Or I don't Is this available on Amazon or
Yeah, it is a better. It was published actually in California. I was
in
working
California?
with somebody, yes, to do all my cover and everything else, printing, everything. I was working with a company in California, and she's amazing. This amazing
Okay.
woman of God.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated about the process of book writing I collaborated with a few friends. There were 19 of us. It's called, during the pandemic. Remember that, Mia? Coffee Talk
Yes.
with Douglas. Okay, so for you to publish your own book, your solo writing, I don't know, how long did it take you from writing to publishing for that to be completed?
Okay, because of the fact that I was working with a company, I had to write the book, believe it or not, in a matter of 3 months. Because
3 months.
yeah, the 3 months and then the editing. So that's different. You write without editing. Okay, and then you will edit eventually yourself and then have editors to do it to help you out, and then of course the publication, the printing, the typesetting, and all that, and basically it was like 6 months altogether because I started in September and then it was launched in March.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you spend a lot to publish this?
Not really. And not really. And then once you put it in Amazon, you get it back. So we already got, whatever we spent on that book. But the goal before, as you folks know, is that I support, charities internationally. So whatever money we make, we give it back into, the global charity foundations that I'm working with.
So, yeah. How much is this if people want to buy?
You know what? If they buy it from me, I give it for $10 because as an author, you can buy so much and you could extend it cheaper. But if they go to Amazon directly, it's I think $15 by the time you pay for the shipping.
But do you sell signed copies, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we were live at the studio today, I was ready to bring the book and have you sign it. So maybe one of these days when we see each other, I will ask for your autograph.
Definitely that. I can give you one. Not a problem.
Thank you for that. Mia, do you have another question for Amie before we take a break?
Who's the lady in the cover?
Good question.
Good question, Mia. You know what? That's anybody truly. It represents anybody who is, who's stepping into a divine destiny. So you could put anybody's picture there.
Yeah. The dawn of a new day.
Okay.
And yes, I like the cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I forget, you folks probably know that Aurora is dawn.
Yes, it is.
And that's my middle name.
Is that your middle name? Where do I find that? Where is that? How come I don't see it? Oh, it's at the back.
It's at the back. My full name is Bella Aurora, and Aurora is dawn.
It's dawn.
Actually, it's Aurora of a new day. I was putting my name there that I'm a new person because of the fact that I've never been an author before. And it's a new role. It's a new destiny that I was taking on.
There you go. There you go.
Princess names.
Yes. That's a perfect line to say before we take a short break.
Right, yeah.
When we're back, I'm going to ask you more about maybe the future. Yeah? Okay. So we'll take a very short break and let's hear from Amie again. Be back.
Thank you.
Moving to Vegas? There's no better time than now. Where can you find a 3-bedroom home with a balcony and patio? With upgraded flooring, all appliances included, newly painted, move-in ready. With a community park and pool for under $400,000. Not to mention that it is so convenient to shopping, schools, entertainment. And of course, what is Vegas without the Strip? So what are you waiting for? Call Benjamina today at 702-281-9063. Mia is also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can also visit www.benjaminamiacasino.com and view available homes anytime. Remember, the house wins when you bet on Benjamina Mia Casino.
Just like a friend from back home. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Welcome back to On the Dot with Mia and Dot. And incidentally, not incidentally, actually, we want to acknowledge the University of the Philippines Alumni Association of Nevada for helping us get this program on air. And our president is Mia here, and we just ended our program, our TMIG. And I don't know what's going to happen with that. Mia, you want to talk a little about that?
So we received entries, and we're going to have the actual performance on August 15 at PHLV, where they will be performing their songs, their compositions in front of our CEO, Mr. Johan Saison, and our judge, one of the judges, Miss Noemi Aragon, on August 15. And then we will have the actual competition by November.
All right. So what if people are still interested in sending their entries? Can they still do that?
Actually, two of those will be sending in this week. So
pwede
they're still
pa.
finishing up. Yeah.
So so if you're not an author, but you're a songwriter,
Yes.
and that's your divine destiny, send us it's still okay to send your entries to
Within the week, yeah.
within the week. And we're also looking for sponsors to the prizes.
Please.
Yes,
We can add on to the 500.
yes, we can do that. And if you're an alumnus of the University of the Philippines, any campus, come and join us here. It's only $50 for our whole year membership fee. Yeah?
Yes.
And
all
Mia.
all you Paan members, we're going to have a meeting this Saturday and a picnic.
Yes.
Please join us.
So I'm going to segue from UP because I heard that Amy's mom is an alumna of UP Diliman. And tell us a little bit about your mom, and maybe did she have how much of an influence did she have on you, Miss Amie, towards your life now as a philanthropist, an author, community leader? How much of your mom influenced you?
Thank you, Dot. It's great to be back once again. You know, my mom is very, very influential in my life. I lost my dad when I was very, very young at the age of 3 years old. So I grew up in a single mom household, actually, me and my sister. And I understand my niece in Oregon and the fiance, Chris and Spencer. Want to say hello to them. They're watching on Facebook. My mom is very, very highly influential. And one of the highlights of my trip just recently to the Philippines is being able to visit, of course, her former alma mater, which is the University of the Philippines in Diliman. Actually, it is my mom who is a writer. Believe it or not, she wrote short stories for it's called Banawag, which is a news magazine for the Philippines, for the Ilocano region, called Banawag. And she used to write short stories for them. My mom is a poem composer. She writes poems all the time. Yeah. She's very good. As a matter of fact, instantly she could be called upon and she can recite a poem. So that's why I said, well, why am I not like that? But my niece who is watching, Karesh, is same thing like my mom. She is the one that was like in biocamp. She is the athletic one, and then she is the one who followed my mom's footsteps in writing poems. Karesh is a very good composer of poems as well. And so my mom is like that, and she's highly influential in my life. But she never really taught me how to write, truly. But believe it or not, that you could probably relate, but I do compose Christian songs. I have several Christian songs also that I had composed. My husband is a musician, and my nephew is a musician, Xander. And so I've been telling them to put music into the lyrics.
Wow.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. There's so many things that, I really need to do. I've been asked also that they want to translate my book into Spanish. I've been asked. Yeah, I know. So, we were talking about the front of the book just a little while ago. And in it, if you look at it a little bit closer, that there are footsteps. There are footsteps in the book, and every time that you step into your divine destiny, like what I mentioned to you folks, it takes a step of faith. And sometimes it seems like you're crossing the ocean and you're going like, okay, God, where is the dry land? But I'm reminded that with who is it? It's Elisha. That as soon as he stepped, or was it Elijah? As soon as he stepped into the water parted. So many times we need to take that step of faith. And when we take that step of faith, the water will part in front of us and we're going to walk into a dry land.
Oh, wow. Ang
Yeah, I
galing
just want to
naman.
encourage people out there.
Oh, so this is like a really divine, I love divine synchronicity when we're talking about songwriting and you say that you're a songwriter as well, and your husband and your nephew. So why not? They want to join on this.
One day.
Pwede, no? Oh. Well, who knows? Kasi this is our first project for with regards to songwriting, di ba, Mia? And
Yeah.
what else? We plan to do this yearly, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So back to you, Miss Amie. Is there another book coming up for you?
There probably will be another one, but not anytime soon. I'm going to see if I can translate this one first into Spanish. I'm going to work on that probably not this year, but probably next year.
You speak Spanish as well?
No, but a lady friend of mine really wanted to translate it into Spanish. They do translation. So, yeah.
How about Tagalog?
Oh, yeah. I can.
No, di ba?
Yeah.
Mia, ano to sa Tagalog, Mia? Sa Filipino? Ayan.
Dawn
Mukhang
of a new
liwayway.
day.
Ang ano yan?
Bagong umaga. Bagong araw.
A new day is bagong araw. What is the dawn? Ang I don't know.
Bagong umaga?
Yeah.
Bukang liwayway.
Bukang liwayway ng
Bukang liwayway
bagong araw. Ano ba yan?
Bukang liwayway ng bagong kinabukasan.
Ay, nako! Ay, grabe!
Pwede.
Pwede, di ba? Another thing, Miss Amie, you are working with the seniors. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
SRS.
Correct.
What is SRS? What is the meaning of SRS?
Senior Resources and Services.
That's correct.
Ayun, Senior Resources and Services. What do you do there? What are the...
Okay. That and Mia, I was actually the only Asian director for senior services for the whole Southern Nevada yet. before. When I first came from Hawaii, I became a director of senior services for the whole Southern Nevada, which means that I used to cover Mesquite, Laughlin. I used to go all over Southern Nevada as the director for senior services. And it is in my book, actually, too. I did say it, that the Lord opened the door for me and then suddenly he closed the door. And sometimes we do not know why God is closing a door, because he's opening a new destiny for us. And that's how Senior Resources was born. That was in 2001. And it's a geriatric care management marketing and company. And basically what I do is I'm the liaison between the medical equipment, home health, hospices, group homes, any types of services for seniors. A lot of them come to us, come to our company and represent them to meet with physicians, to meet with hospitals and rehabs. And so I'm the one who gets clients for them. So that's our marketing arm. Yeah. And we've been in service now for the last 2001 and still going, but I had downsized now. I used to have I was one of the first one to have a personal care attendant company, which is a 24-hour, caregiving company. And so I had helped birth many of our companies right now that are providing those services. But I'm slowing down because I'd really like to retire. I'm envious of my husband. He wakes up at noontime. Any time of day, so I want to do that too.
Retire, huh?
Yeah.
Retire and write more books.
There you go. Yeah.
In your experience with the senior members of our community, are there inspired men and women who are ready to write their own books, the wisdom they have in their lives? Have you met anyone willing to write?
Not really. I think because they are now in their latter days. So basically, they're not looking. The people that we deal with are the vulnerable population now. It's not really the well people. It's the one that needs help at home. It's the one that needs a assisted living, a group home, or a nursing facility. So basically they're, at the last end of their lives. But the issue that we try to do here, Dot and Mia, is to give them the dignity. Dignity of spending the latter days of their lives, So those are the things primarily that we are doing,
Which sounds to me like a little bit of a paradox or an irony of sorts, because when I was young, I feel like I'm still young. When I was young, I'm 100 years old, never mind. When I was younger and I said, it would be nice to write a book. Then the question is, but you're so young. What are you going to write about? Anong karapatan mo? Anong claim mo? What right have you? And what are you imparting to the world? And then the other thing the other end of that little polarity there is that now that I'm old, I think I can write something. But then I'm old, who knows? I could die anytime. So how did that happen for you? What was the process for you? Did the challenge of young, old, and the age, did it ever come into factor for you when you were writing your book?
Not at all, because I never dream of writing a book, truly. I mean, I've been told many, many times, but I think when the Lord speaks to us and you hear it 3 times, that is a sign that there is something that you can contribute to the community.
3 times, yes.
3 times, that's
yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But as I told you folks, I waited till the 6th
10 years.
time because I keep 6 times. The last person that told me is write the book, which is a command. It's not like I think you need to write a book. It's already a command. And so sometimes I think you really have to feel it in your heart, Dan and Mia, that you may not have a prophecy, but I'm the one who always say, Lord, confirm this thing if it's from you. Lord, speak to me if it's from you. And I wanted to share a verse with you folks that is really one of my favorite verse. And this version says it well. So let me just read it, okay?
Yeah,
And it's
sure.
found in Philippians 4, 6 to 7. It says here, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Okay? That's what it says. Tell God your needs and don't forget to thank Him for His answers. If you do this, you will experience God's peace, which is far more wonderful than human mind can understand. His peace will keep your thoughts and your hearts quiet at rest as you trust in Christ Jesus. And you know what? When you are in doubt, always tell God everything. Philippians 4, 6 to 7, Paul is encouraging us, St. Paul is encouraging us to do everything by prayer. Tell God about our needs. And so when finally I had that sixth time that God told me, then I said, okay, God, I hear you. I'm going to do it now. So I never even thought like I'm older, I'm younger. What do I have to write? Because it was never my ambition in the first place. But I think if you have it in your heart that you was thinking about that, then I think you really need to pursue it, truly. So that at the end, you don't say like, what about if I was able to help someone when I did this, you know? So anyway, go for it. Just be brave, be of good courage. That's all I can tell you.
Go for it, huh?
Go for it.
it.
Just do it.
What
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the number 3 that you mentioned. When you hear something for 3 times, you know, I read that back in maybe 12 years ago. But there's this woman, she said, when I have doubts about something, I take a pause, I go still, and when I hear it again, then I really listen. And when I hear it for the 3rd time, then I do it, I obey it. So I'm going to throw this question to Mia. What 3-timer things have you heard in your life that you're ready to listen to now and take action for?
You know, when I am in doubt, I look for a sign. Yeah, I don't. It's not the 3-timer. I look for a sign. I ask God for a sign, always, and it's given.
And do you have any examples of such a thing?
Like my moving to Vegas, I asked for signs, and it was given to me.
the Las Vegas sign showed up.
Yes. No. I asked for different signs because when the decision for us to be moving here, I said, no, this is a sin city. It's not good for the family. So I asked for a lot of signs because I had 3 kids.
Oh, yeah. You know, right. So now here you are. And about Sin City, Amie, when people say, oh, Las Vegas is a sin city, and then I say, well, where there's sin, there's forgiveness. So this is a forgiveness city. And it's just a way of framing the statement. So while you were writing, what were your greatest challenges?
Sometimes one of the greatest challenges is not able to really express what you want to say. You write it over and over again, and yet it's not capturing truly the essence of what you want to communicate. And that's why it's good for you to have some people around you and say, people that are writer, and say like, this is exactly what I was saying, but it's not really coming out. How could you help me? And they call it the writer's block. And sometimes you do have a writer's block that you cannot really think. And so when you bounce it with someone, then they can clarify things. Do you mean to say this or that? And then you go, oh yeah, that's what it is. And then they can help you formulate a little bit of the thought because they are experienced writers. So yeah, so that could be the challenges, but I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said, Mia, on what is the sign. And I just want to share this to you folks and all the other listeners that I also been asking for a sign. And one of the things, okay, that I know that I'm not the only one who experienced it, but people who have experienced it is that, Lord, could you give me a sign? And I always say, could you show me or bring a feather, you know, in front of my path? Believe it or not only myself, but other people have worked for them. We do Bible study, as you introduced me, Mia, that we are Bible study teachers at our house. And we have what we call a testimony sharing. So people would share that, and they sometimes tell me like, oh, Ate Amie, I did say what you said, and you would not believe it. I was walking at the store, and here comes this white feather in front of me, you know? So if you're looking for a sign, just like what you said, Mia, or say like, speak to my friend, through my friend, Lord, because that's a confirmation. That somebody would call me and say, hey, you know what? I was praying for you, and this is what the Lord wants me to speak to you. I've had people like that, and I just go, wow, thank you, Lord. You just spoke to me, and you just confirmed things. Yeah, so I just want to encourage our listeners there, or whoever is watching this Facebook or who will be watching later on, that there's signs all over. We live in a society that is really fast nowadays. And we don't take time to listen. We pray, but we do not wait for God to answer. We do not take time. As a matter of fact, I'm a human doing for the longest time. But I had to learn to be a human being, which means I need to take time and just listen. And during those moments of waiting and just listening, I heard so much from people, from the Lord, or somebody to confirm. So I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Mia said on confirmation.
Galing. Yeah, I love that. Sometimes people see the signs, but they don't recognize that it's already a sign.
Correct.
And sometimes they still doubt and say, one more sign, please. And it's really a call for faith, no?
Yes.
A call for, put your faith into action now. Because how many signs do you need, Like when you're driving down the highway and the sign says, there's your exit, and you keep on driving. Well, how many exits are you going to pass before you finally, okay, let me make a U-turn and go back to that sign?
You ignored the signs.
You ignored it. And so you missed it. Yeah, very fascinating. What about technology? Were you challenged by technology?
Oh, I'm very challenged technically. So that's why I have Leo, thank God. I don't know what I'm going to do without Leo, but I think maybe I can call on Joanne if need be. But, I'm really technically challenged. I don't know much. I don't know much about Facebook. People are asking me, oh, Amie, you got to post your pictures from the award. I said, I will. But I have not been able to because I take a long time, but I will. I will share our pictures over there one of these days because it was a great award. So
yes. And also the technology of putting up the book, like like writing, editing, storing, sending to Amazon, and I don't know, formatting. Did someone take care of that for you?
Yeah, somebody did the formatting for me. I just had to write. Somebody helped me with the editing, because it's not easy. And then you always want a second eye, a third eye maybe to read it so that they can say, do you mean this way? So that's basically, yes. It was challenging. The writing part, once you finish writing, is pretty much easy. And let me say this too, Dat and Mia, that a lot of people sometimes they say, oh no, but I got to write a thick book. You don't have to. If that book that you're writing is only 50 pages, do it. Yeah. As long as you're communicating a message. I think my book is less than, I don't even remember, but it's less than 100 pages.
Less than 100 pages?
Yeah, I believe it's less than 100 pages, isn't it?
Yes, it's 87.
There you go.
87 pages with portions for notes.
Note
And I
taking.
like it because you can do it's for note taking
Yeah,
as
right,
well. You
right.
can put your own thoughts. What about marketing? Did you factor that in? Were you
Yeah,
concerned about that?
I wasn't really concerned about marketing. I wasn't writing for a book to be a really market out there, like what I mentioned to you folks. It is for charity purposes, but I wasn't thinking of becoming a rich. If that's what the Lord wants, I'm sure that He can open the door. And as a matter of fact, I've been told that, I don't know, the Middle Eastern countries have talked about it. They found my book, they're promoting it. So be it. I mean, when you have a book, you can get an account with Amazon and they buy it, and Amazon just pays you anyway. So, right. And
The
so,
ISBN. Yeah.
right, yes, exactly. So they just pay you. And so the money portion was not the goal, but marketing so that people, I probably have given more books that I sold. I don't know. you know, because God had supplied, already the expenses, and that was the bottom line, just to get even so that I can write my next book. And so and then word of mouth. A lot of my friends from Hawaii, they're using it for their Bible studies. Believe it or not, I mean, some of the churches over there, they're ordering 30, 50, and they're using it for their Bible study. And so I'm so inspired by that, because some of the people that I have never met would write and text me and said, thank you, we're doing this for our Bible study. And thank you for being transparent. Thank you for letting us know about your experiences where you had to wait on the Lord, because that's full of experiences about who God is in my life. So I want people to pick, and if there's anyone who cannot afford it, please just let me know. And if you want to read it so that you could be inspired, please let me know. If Mia and Dot, there's people that say, oh, I really would like to read that book, but I can't afford another $10, $15, because we know that gas alone is very, very expensive, that sometimes people have to make a choice between buying gas and buying food,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't
Right.
want anybody to miss out on the message of God. It's not my message. I was just a vessel that God used to relay a message to everybody.
I like it. I like the positivity of the book. It doesn't just talk about sin and how miserable life can be, but it's really focused on the new day. That's also a double D there. Dawn,
Yes, yes.
day, a double D, di ba?
All
Ah,
these, yes.
Maybe.
Yes. Did you have an outline before you wrote this? I'm thinking thesis in the, did you write your thesis, Mia? Was it the thesis
no thesis
graduate degree?
No thesis
Because
necessary.
if you're able to write, I think it's just my idea. If you're able to write, oh, someone's by the door. If
You have
you're
a
able
guess.
to write a research paper, I think you can write a book, right?
Yes, yes. I totally agree. No, I did not even have an outline. I told you guys I'm probably the worst writer because of the fact that I'm not a writer. I did not even know. And I wrote a thesis in college, because for your master's degree, you need to write a thesis. And I did not even do it that way. And so I was thinking, like, what was I thinking? I just started writing without even doing like a table of contents. What are my chapter? I'm the opposite. It's like I'm just writing, and I'll put the title later. I mean, it was very unconventional. So that's why I want to encourage people out there that if you have not written a book, please believe me, I've not written a book, and it came out to be okay. Yeah. And we'll write a better book next time. But I did not do everything right. I didn't know what I was doing. Basically, I just said, okay, God, I'll do it.
Well, God knew what He was doing.
Sure.
And that's all that
Divine
matters.
destiny. Yeah.
Divine destiny. That's your double D.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. So now our divine destiny
wow.
about to end for this hour only. It's almost a minute before we end the show. So let's have your elevator speech, Miss Amie, before Mia takes us out with her elevator speech as well. Miss Amie, what's your final word?
Well, Dad and Mia, I just want to thank you both once again for inviting me here. I do hope that whatever we talked about today will inspire other people, influence and impact the lives of many out there who are thinking of doing something and yet they are afraid of doing it. Let me tell you that there is a divine destiny. There is a special calling for each and every one of us. Pursue it. Pursue it, and you can pursue it by prayer. So thank you, Johan. Thank you, PHLV Radio, for always allowing me to come. God bless everybody.
God bless, and thank you so much. You're very inspiring. I think I'm gonna write that little book
There
one
you
of these
go.
days. Yeah. Sige, thank you so much, Miss Amie. Oh,
Thank
Mia, what are our final messages?
Yes, thank you so much, Amie. Thank you for inspiring everyone. Thank you for inspiring us. My final quote is from Claudia Kirshner. You have a divine destiny encoded in your soul. Still your mind and listen to its voice whispering in your heart. Thank you, everyone.
I love that. I love that so much. Yes. Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you so much. God bless. Okay. Bye-bye.
Moving to Vegas, there's no better time than now. Where can you find a 3-bedroom home with a balcony and patio, with upgraded flooring, all appliances included, newly painted, move-in ready, with a community park and pool for under $400,000? Not to mention that it is so convenient to shopping, schools, entertainment. And of course, what is Vegas without the Strip? So what are you waiting for? Call Benjamina today at 702-281-9063. Mia is also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can also visit www.benjaminamiacasino.com and view available homes anytime. Remember, the house wins when you bet on Benjamina Mia Casino.